Hello, it's Bill with Colorado 4x4 van. Haven't done a video in a while and realized we've never really done a tour of the inside of the camper. A commenter recently mentioned that he'd like to see that, so we do have it kind of emptied out of our personal stuff. We're getting ready to do some maintenance to the truck and some more work on it, so it's emptied out. So I was reluctant to do it, but then I realized, well, that'll let me show some of the interior parts that are hard to see. When the mattress and everything is in here, it's harder to get to them. So we'll do this, and maybe I'll supplement it later when we have everything set up to where we're actually using it. So when you come in the door, you're immediately greeted by the entertainment area here. We have our AC, our WeBoost antenna, inside antenna for the cell boost signal. We have a small bookshelf, some artwork, a 42-inch TV back here, and some storage for DVDs and stuff like that over here. We have these are Bahia Blue granite countertops in here. Had them custom made. Starting at this drawer, this is kind of we have our first aid, flashlights, some tools, and some outdoor type stuff, some bug zappers, things like that. We have our built-in Blu-ray player here, one of our speakers here. This is mainly our pantry, which is mostly empty except for some long-term stuff, but we keep like snacks, bread, and that kind of stuff in here. This is the unfinished part of the pantry, which I haven't built shelves for yet, and this has most of our canned goods, rice, that kind of stuff is all in here. This shelf here, which I have a little lock here, is our silverware. So we have our silverware drawer here, lighter, knives, pens, that kind of stuff. We had this custom made by a carpenter to fit our silverware, the same silverware we use in the house. And that's what's in there. This big cabinet is originally designed for our washing machine. We have a portable washing machine that will fit in here, but we don't use that. We've never used it yet, but if we go on a longer trip, we'll probably bring it. My wife likes to run, and she likes to wash her stuff regularly so it doesn't get all smelly and whatnot. So, but we have yet to bring it. So right now we're using it mainly for storage. We have our Instapot, our Omnia oven. We keep paper towels, toilet paper, and that kind of stuff in here. There's our fire extinguisher. Things like that are in here. Here's our kind of electrical brains behind the upper entertainment system. There's the WeBoost brain module, cables that go to speakers and TV and Blu-ray player and that kind of stuff. I also have an HDMI cable that's run all the way back underneath the bed. If we ever decide to run like a PS4, PS5, something like that, we could put it under there and use it here. Coming up next is the bathroom, which is not completely done yet, but close. We still have some trim to do, but we finished the inside finally. We had the same Bahia Blue granite accents in here. Teak wood over the shower pan. There's the vent fan back there. We have a couple lights, and you see I built this out, and we super insulated the corners. That's where the container locks are and are notoriously bad cold bridges, so we put triple insulation on every corner. The other one is back here behind all this insulation back here on this side. And we have Bahia Blue granite accents that are going to trim out this window. I put the window in here so it's not so claustrophobic in there, plus it lets in a lot of natural light both during the day in, and we turn these lights on and we get a nice night light out here at night through the window here. We have the Thetford cassette toilet, which I'm kind of on the fence about. I don't hate it, but you often wonder if we should have gone the route of other toilets that don't have to empty as often. This one will last us about, with me and the two girls about 3-4 days before I have to empty it. So you do have to empty it more often, no question. And that's one of the downsides. But where we go, there are plenty of vault toilets, so that's not usually a problem. But yeah, maybe we should have thought about that differently, but it suits our purposes. And I have yet to paint and trim out the ceiling. The last thing we did last year was get all this installed, and we've used the shower several times now, and it's very nice. We also have a heat. There's a heat vent down here, so we can hang wet clothes in here and let them dry using the heater there. This is a pocket door that leads to the bathroom. As you can see, it doesn't have its final coat on it yet. So it just slides open. Level with this side here. This back side is epoxied and painted. The front's just painted. We showered with it several times and haven't found a need for a shower curtain yet, but we may eventually do that if we need to. Not a big bathroom shower, but sure glad we have it. It really changes everything when you can get clean. Before we had this finished, we were kind of limited where we could camp with Sam and Wendy because we had to be able to shower on a semi-regular basis. This really opened it up so we can go anywhere, anytime. It's nice. I also have this faucet down here. That's there for the washing machine. You can screw on here, you open it up, and then you can have hot, cold water that hooks to the washing machine. If we bring it and the drain hose just sits in the shower pan, it drains out there. So that's why that's there. Coming further along, we have the kitchen area. We have our carbon monoxide detector, a magnet holder that carries all our knives, and yes, these stay here while we drive off-road everywhere. They never fall. I glued on some metal pieces to our remotes. They stay here also, they never fall. We have light switches here. That's the bathroom lights, bathroom vent fan, and this is for these two lights over the kitchen area here. We have an extra circulation fan here for when we use the fireplace. This is a propane fireplace, the same one I put in the van, Dickinson Marine P9000. We use this for quick warm-ups, and we can lay like wet jackets and stuff out here. Come riding in from riding in the rain or hiking in the rain, and they dry off real quickly. But this is for real quick warm-ups in a 3-season setting. We have the Truma, which I'll show you in a minute. That is for our main heating and water heat. We have the same Bahia Blue countertop in here. This is the Dickinson Marine Cooktop, which might be dirty. I'm going to warn you before it opens. Yeah, it's a little dirty. But this is the same cooktop that's in the van, 2-burner cooktop. And it has this cutting board that sits in here, and I'll often set this up here when I'm cooking to give me some more counter space. You can still drop your dirty dishes in here, but you can put more, set up more stuff for cooking over here. And this is our Blanco deep sink. It's very similar to what we've seen in other builds. I like it because it's really deep, so you can keep dishes in here and you can wash up a lot more than just those shallow RV type sinks. We got a real full-size faucet that's detachable. You can also put this out the window, use it for an outdoor shower if you wanted to. Starting over here, we have our utensil drawer and the spice rack built in. And this is our trash can. And I have plans to put another drawer right above here that slides in and out that's faceless, that'll hold like our plastic bags, aluminum foil, stuff like that. We have our built-in microwave, which is also dirty. We really didn't clean up after the end of last season. And this is a big drawer for all the pots and pans. We keep our plates, cups, pots and pans, all that kind of stuff in here. And this drawer is just the under sink. We keep our cleaning, paper towels, all that kind of normal kitchen stuff. You can see from the pink we have winterized it this year because we're about to take it down to have some work done, and I didn't want him to have to worry about having to keep it warm. So I did winterize it this fall. There's a plug down here, microwave plugs in there. That's about all there is to see there. This light switch here is for an outside light that's right out here, so you can see out this window at night. This is a temperature of, there's a temperature sensor inside the electrical cabinet here. It takes in air, the air intake is down underneath the cabinet down here, and it has a pull fan in there, and then there's a push out fan up here. And that's mainly for to keep the solar charge controller and the electrical components in here cool. I'll show you that in just a second. Here's the brains of our truck. All the controls and monitors and whatnot. Let's start at the top. You've got the Victron Energy battery monitor. This is a gauge that shows how much water we have. You push this button and it lights up and shows you how much water you have. Empty right now. We've got the Victron control unit. We have it plugged in right now. As you can see, we've had snow constantly now for about a month and a half. We just got 6 inches day before yesterday again. So the solar panels up there are all covered. So I have it plugged in right now so you see the shore power on there. This is a remote. We didn't need this. You could do the same things that this does, turning the charger and the inverter on and off, setting the limits for how much input there is, all that kind of thing. You could do that in here, but you'd have to scroll through and make sure you did it or make sure you remembered. So I got this because this is like a exact copy of the front of the inverter, which is down in this corner down here, so that we wouldn't forget and leave it on. This tells you when it's on. You turn it off, turn it back on, but this is a reminder, so I got that for that reason, so we wouldn't forget and leave it on. Here's our Truma control. We have a Truma Combi 6E, I believe that's what it is. Does our water heater and our furnace, and I'll show you some more of that here in a minute. We have stereo in here, which we have one speaker here. One speaker I showed you earlier is over there, and then we have a subwoofer that's right behind here. So we have a pretty good sound system in here for watching movies and listening to music. There's also 2 speakers on the outside over here that I can turn on separately so we can listen to music outside. Here's just some switches to turn on water pumps, the cooling fans, all that kind of stuff. Indoor outdoor temperature sensor. We don't have any true heat running right now, so it's 32, 33 inside, 25 outside. I'll show you the inside of this right now. It's kind of a mess because, oops, let's open this. So in here you have the solar charge controller. The monitor for the temperature over here is sitting right on top of that, so I know how hot that gets when it's charging hard during the day. You've got your fuses for everything interior, circuit breakers for the AC portion inside. There's a little iPod that's hooked to our stereo that charges constantly, but also we use for our house music. And we got a bunch of extra cords. It's kind of a mess right now. We've got a bunch of extra cords that I've ran that are redundant down underneath the bed and other places. So if we ever expand on our Victron system, we can do that. But it also needs to be cleaned up. I've added things like the water monitor and some other stuff since I initially built this. And I changed like big fuse to a big circuit breaker there, the main. And there are switch offs for the the battery bank there, the solar panels up there, so you can turn off all the power, isolate everything. But that's what this looks like now. Right next door to that is a triple shelved storage, which I originally designed for, so we each have a shelf for our bathroom bags. It hasn't quite worked out like that. Sam has taken over a lot of it. she's no longer, we even have some diapers still in here. She's no longer in diapers. She's going to be 4 next month. So that's kind of redundant, but she plays with these are all her toys and stuff that she keeps in here. Some of her snacks and her hair ties and her coloring, and yeah. So Sam's kind of taken over that, but that's okay. And then this isn't finished yet. This is built to the exact size of our travel luggage. So Wendy and I put our suitcases up here, and there's extra room for bathroom bags and stuff like that. This is just temporarily sits up there to hold them in so they don't fall out. But eventually this will be cabinets just like this, so we can have our travel luggage put away up there. You remember when I first built this, you can see the damage here. There was a loft. There was a bunk up here, half size. And I thought that would work great for Sam, but it didn't work out. And we tore that out. And I have yet to repair all the damage, so that's still on the list. We have some decorations up in this corner. That's going to be filled with foam, and there'll be a reading light on there. But that's to put extra insulation on that container lock. You can see I've got that one cut. This one is cut out to do that also. We have insulation over them, but I'm going to put even more because that's the weak link of these shelters are those corners where the container locks are. And they're in all 4 corners, up and down. I've done all the lower ones. And coming around. Here's another countertop. Same granite. We have a pull-out extension here. Can eat on or use for more cooking space. This is our Australian 12-volt oven, Travel Buddy. Relatively small, runs on 12 volts, like I said, about 10 amps. And we have cooked everything from full-size pies, you name it. What else? We got pizzas. We've done like pizza rolls, chicken fingers, stuff like that. It does take a while to cook in here, so if you're planning on having something for lunch or dinner, you want to put it in mid-morning. Keep driving, and then after about 3-4 hours, it'll be ready to go. So it's pretty slow. We use the microwave a lot more, but it is nice to have. Below that is where we store our drinks. Normally there's just some water in here now, but we keep sodas, waters, Sam's apple juices, things like that. This is a queen size bed, so it's a full queen. We have the mattress and everything out now, obviously. But this is where the bed would normally be. I sleep on the back side. My wife sleeps on this side. So this is her cubby over here where she keeps her lotion and different stuff in here, charges her phone, things like that. Gave her an outlet here that's AC and DC, and charge her phone and different stuff. These are, this top switch is for, you can see back here we have one accent light right there. And then there's one on the floor on either side. So at night, you want to get up and go to the bathroom or something, you just turn that on, and you've got good light to get to the bathroom and get back here. The lower switch isn't being used yet. That's for future use. I'm probably going to have some accent lights over here and underneath this cabinet here in the bed area, and we'll attach those right there. For this way, here's our fridge freezer. Right now it's being used as a freezer only. We have a freezer that's down in the house, our secondary freezer, so we're using this for that kind of extra stuff right now. But it's nice. It's the biggest one that they make. The 95, I think it's 95 quart. All the controls are on this side. All the air input and output is right here. And it also doubles as a seating. We haven't made any cushions for it yet, but we were thinking about it. But I don't know if we might not do that. Because it's real nice to have Sam can stand on here. She can eat right here, play with her toys, do different stuff. And this is real easy to clean, where if you had cushions, it might get messy in a hurry. So I haven't decided fully on that. But we have some spacers back here you can take out. slide it that way, and then you can push this back through and pull it out to remove it if you ever needed to service it, or if you ever wanted to take it out for any reason. So this is removable. Okay, and we have a mirror, getting dressed, coat rack, that kind of stuff, and back to the door. The heating system, the Truma, we have the Truma heating system I showed you. We have the heat vent in here. That's one. There's one underneath the center of the toe kick here. There's another one there. And there's another one under the toe kick right here at the back by the door. There's also one underneath the bed right here where all the water stuff is, and I have these holes drilled for ventilation, so that keeps the bed area, all the water, everything warm. Plus, secondarily, it keeps the bed warm, which is nice. And now I'll show you what's underneath here, the technical aspects. So in this corner, underneath the electrical system, is our Truma combi. Here's the unit itself. Water comes in, gas comes in back here. This is a propane unit. These are the heat ducts. There are 4 of them, like I said. One goes that way for the kitchen, the bathroom. One's underneath right here. Warms up the water pump and all that over there, underneath the bed. One right here, and one over there by the door. Really like this unit. It's been, I said it also does water heat, and we've loved that for the shower and washing dishes, so this has really been nice. It was a little bit expensive, but when we got it 2 years ago, and it's more available in the US now. At the time I had to order it from England because they didn't have them over here, but it's been worth it. It's worked great, and we use it a ton, so it's been nice. Like I said, we only use the Fireplace for 3-season, late fall, early spring type stuff when we just want a quick warm up. And this is our main heat source. Next compartment has we have 2 46-gallon water tanks. So 92 gallons of water we can carry. Here's our water gauge on one of them. We have our water pump and all the water components. Accumulator tank, dual filters, and there's a floor drain and a pre-filter, and also that down there. So you can see it's all pink because we've got it winterized, but that's what's here. And then here's that heat vent I talked about underneath here. It comes out under here. So that's what's in that corner. This main compartment is our batteries. This is our battery bank here. We have 6 6-volt batteries here. Each pair is 235 amp hours. So we've got a pretty sizable bank. We've been using it since this was one of my first purchases for the truck. So it's been about almost 4 years now that it's been used. So, but it still seems to be doing very well. We have our subwoofer here. So it's a real thin, compact subwoofer, 10-inch. Here's the amp for that right there. The shunt for the Victron system. There's our inverter, multi-plus back there. And I just recently added this. This is a DC-DC converter that takes 12 volt and changes to 24 volt, and that runs down to our starter batteries and keeps those topped off using the solar array on the roof. So even when it's parked for long periods, the starter batteries stay charged up, and that's worked really well too. You can see in here propane lines come through for the various appliances. We have one for the Truma, one for the cooktop, and one for the fireplace. And that's all sealed. These are all sectioned off and insulated, especially right through here because the propane tanks are right back there. I'll show you that next. Now this is something that some people find controversial. I don't. We wanted everything inside, so that number one, people couldn't mess with it, but also it keeps everything warm. It's true 4-season. We've been in this camper to minus 21 degrees and no issues. Everything works great. Nothing gets cold. Nothing freezes. Everything works as it should, just like it's warm. So that's the main reason I did this, but a lot of people don't like propane inside, safety reasons. It is sealed up, and there is a big floor vent down there that goes outside. So if any leak ever occurred, it would go out, not in. But this is all sealed and insulated, this whole compartment. And manifold here with 3 valves, 1 for each appliance. Like I said, cooktop, fireplace, and the Truma heater. And we decided to go with the 20-pound bottle system. It's all secured in. But main reason we did that is because anywhere in North America anyway, you can change these bottles out. You don't have to worry about, you can refill them. But if you don't have time for that, you can go to almost any convenience store, Walmart, whatever you want, and change these out in about 5 minutes. So that's the reason we went this way. I do think if I scoot these all the way down tight, I might have room for a third one over here. But the 2 tank system, when it's semi-cold out, so over the course of a regular season, the first 3 seasons, it'll last the entire 3 seasons. That's with cooking, a little bit of heat here and there in the spring and the fall. Over the winter, when it's real cold, I'll usually leave the Truma set at 40 degrees so I don't have to winterize the truck, so we can take it any time and go. And these 2 tanks will last about, depending on how cold it is, 5 to 6 weeks at 40 degrees in here. And that's usually average cold here at night is in the teens, and during the day it's usually warm enough where it'll shut off. Like, as you can see, it's a cold day today, 25 outside, but 35 inside because of the sun and the windows and everything. So every 5 or 6 weeks I have to change those out in the wintertime, which isn't too bad, especially if you get them refilled. It's cheaper and they fill them fuller that way. But anyway, kind of controversial with some people, but I am not concerned with it. Not at all. We've never had an issue. We did have a fitting on the, I think it was on the bottom of the cooktop, had a little leak the first year. That took a little while to figure it out, but that had nothing to do with the tanks being in here. That was over here, and you can't avoid that. So we got that fixed, and we've had no issues, and we drive this over some pretty rough terrain. Haven't had any vibration or any issues like that. So that's where the propane tanks are. As you probably know, if you followed me for a while, we used outbound windows. These are all glass dual pane windows, no cold bridges, built-in shade and screen. These work really well. You can open up. I won't open now, it's cold out, but they open up. You can open them to any position and they stay open, and you can leave them open during the, if rain, as long as it's not blowing too hard, and it just runs off outside. So we really like these windows. Little bit of condensation when it's really, really cold. All 3 of us in here, it was minus 21 up by Telluride one night, and there was a little bit of condensation down along the bottom of the glass. But not bad, really not bad at all. Nothing like RV windows, if you know what they're like, where you have a stream coming down and they're all frozen and it's a disaster. Nothing like that. They're really nice, really like them. And we put the biggest one over the kitchen here, and really like this. We have our Max Air fan here, controllers for that. So if I'm cooking, I can leave that window in the, they have a locked position where you can open it up about that far, lock these, and that'll bring air in, suck it right out here. So if I'm cooking, it is really nice to just have some ventilation there and just look out. We'll park this usually toward the view, so when you're cooking in the morning, you can see everything around you. It's really nice. So really like the outbound windows. Once again, those were expensive also, but I'm actually glad we got those when we did, because even though they were expensive, they're more expensive now, and the backlog is like forever. So very happy that we got those, and we really like those. We have the two little ones, one down low, one up high. I said that was originally for the bunk, but it's worked out well anyway. Sam stands on the bed there. When it's made, she can look out that one. We can lie down and look out this one. So yeah, we really like our having a lot of natural light and being able to look all around the truck when we're in here. So the to-do list is still ongoing, as you can see. We still have painting to do, drawers. The floor still needs to be done. We were originally thinking about a bamboo floor, but now I'm not so sure. We might just go with regular oak hardwood like we did in the van. A lot of painting to do. I have to paint the entire inside. We have tile for backsplashes that's not in yet. Said we saw some granite work in the bathroom and trim work almost everywhere. So yeah, there's a lot of work yet to do on the little things in here. But the next stage for the truck is going to be some mechanical work on the truck itself. We're going to have to take those out of town for that. So that's coming up soon, and hopefully it'll be ready to go for the spring or late spring, summer, whenever it gets done. At this point, I'm with the ongoing medical situations in the world, nothing gets done very quickly anymore. So just gonna get it down there, and when it's done, it's done. It's ready, it's ready. So that's the next step for us. But yeah, about 88 square feet, and it's worked very well for the three of us. The layout is kind of unusual, as we don't have a traditional seating area, but we found that was just space that we didn't need to use. I like having the bigger kitchen a lot better because I cook a lot, so I like having basically a full kitchen on both sides of you, so one person working in here can do a lot of cooking. And if it's cold out, they stay on the bed while I cook, or if it's nice out, they go outside, and I get everything ready and then we eat. So that was the trade-off, but I kind of like it. Also, the big TV, I get a lot of criticism for that. But honestly, that TV is only about that thick, so it's not taking up a lot of space back there, and we still use that counter for everything normal. We would normally use it for, even if it weren't there. And we really like watching a show or a movie before we go to bed some nights, so that really works out well. Anyway, that's a tour of the inside of our camper. I'll post some pics of what it looks like here when it's all made up and pretty and we're about to use it. But yeah, that's what it looks like when it's being worked on. And here's where she sits. This used to be a berm when we first got the new house. This was just a berm to kind of separate that yard from ours, kind of. Our property line goes all the way to the fence back there. So we leveled it out, put some crushed gray granite on it, and this is where she's gonna park. And yeah, since we've got these snowstorms, she looks cold and lonely. But anyway, this is where she sits. So every day when I come out to go to work, I see her. And that makes me smile. And that's enough for now. Until next time.
What happened to the radio? It used to play songs to you and me.